very good morning, children. Well, into this class of economic application, we shall make a distinction among capitalistic economy, socialistic economy and mixed economy. But before we go on further for this class, we shall just look at the recap on what we did in the last class. Well, in the last class, as you know, we were talking exclusively on mixed economy, where we discussed about the merits and demerits of the mixed economy. Okay, as I said just now, today we shall make a distinction between capitalistic economy, socialistic economy and mixed economy. Okay, first of all, let us see the definition of all these three economies then. First, capitalistic economy. Alright, what is capitalistic economy? Well, a capitalistic economy is an economy where all the means of production like land, labor, capital, etc. is owned and managed by private individual or a private entrepreneurs. Okay, so there is no any kind of government interference. There's no sort of any interference from the government in the economic activities of the country. So that's capitalistic economy. Okay, so an economy wherein all the means of production is owned by the private entrepreneur or a private people. Okay, so a very good example of capitalistic economy is UK, USA, and a capitalistic economy is also known as a laissez-faire economy, which means what? A free economy, right? Okay, so what is socialistic economy then? Well, a socialistic economy is an economy where economic activities are regulated and controlled by a community as a whole or by the government so as to ensure social security or social welfare and equal opportunities to the people. Okay, so there's no sort of any sort of private ownership in socialistic economy. All right, to name some countries which has adopted socialistic economy are a very good example, as I said, is North Korea and Vietnam. Okay, so these are the examples of socialistic economy. Then let's switch on to what is mixed economy then. Well, a mixed economy refers to an economy wherein some important parts of production is undertaken by the government, okay, and some is left to the private entrepreneurs or private owners. Okay, so therefore, if you see a mixed economy is a sort of blend of both capitalistic economy and socialistic economy. That means you see some of the characteristics of capitalist economy and some of the characteristics of socialistic economy in mixed economy. So in short, it is a sort of a blend between capitalistic and socialistic economy. All right. So some of the examples are like India, Sweden, France. So these are some examples of mixed economy. Okay, so these are the three types of economy which we have been discussing for the last couple of classes. And now what we are going to do today is the main topic of the day is we will make a distinction between these three economy: capitalistic, socialistic and mixed economy on the basis of various topic. Okay. So, first of all, on the basis of ownership, we are going to make a distinction between capitalistic, socialistic and mixed economy. Alright. So, on the basis of ownership, as I said, in capitalistic economy, means of production is owned and managed by the private entrepreneur or a private owner, right? Whereas in socialistic economy, the means of production is owned by, means of production means land, labor, capital, etc. In socialistic economy, means of production is owned by the government, whereas in mixed economy, it is some portion is owned by the government as well as by the by private entrepreneurs. Okay, since mixed economy is a blend of both socialist mixed, so you find both the private sector as well as public sector there. So obviously private sector is owned by the private entrepreneurs and public sector is owned by the government. So in mixed economy, ownership is some part is owned by government and some are owned by the private entrepreneurs. So this is the distinction among three economies on the basis of ownership. Okay, so now on the basis of motive. Okay, what is, let's make a distinction then. First, in capitalistic economy, in capitalism, economic activities, all the economic activities are guided by self-interest and profit. That means in capitalistic economy, what is the main motive of a private entrepreneur? Well, the main motive of private entrepreneur in capitalistic economy is to earn profit. So self-interest is highly seen in capitalistic economy. Their main intention or their main motive is to earn more and more profit. Okay. Whereas in socialistic economy, in socialistic economy or in socialism, it is guided by what? Not profit, but it is guided by the motive of social welfare. That means one of the very important, rather in one of the important, motive or motive of socialistic economy is what? Social welfare, to bring about social welfare of the people rather than the profit in socialistic economy. All right, what about in mixed economy then? Well, in mixed economy, as I said, since there is an existence of both private as well as public sector, therefore it is economic activities are guided both by social welfare as a social welfare motive or and profit motive. Okay, so this is a distinction on the basis of motive. Now let us switch on to the third point. Let's make a distinction among the three economies on the basis of solution of central problem. By now everyone knows, all of us know what is the central problem of economy. We have already discussed about this, right? See, but still to recall the central problem, there are three basic problem or a central problem in economy, isn't it? And what is it? That is what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So these are the three central problem of an economy that any economy faces, whether it is a capitalistic economy or socialistic economy or mixed economy. Okay, every economy faces this problem, that is what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. This is the central problem of an economy, right? Now how is this problem solved in these three economies then? Well, in capitalistic economy, the central problem of an economy is solved through what? Through an instrument or through a mechanism which is known as price mechanism. With the help of price mechanism, the central problem of economy is what? Solved. Okay. What about in socialistic economy? In socialistic economy, one of the very important features of socialistic economy is what? Economic planning, isn't it? Planning body. So in in socialistic economy, all the economic activities are what? Rather, all the economic decisions are taken by the government through what? Through economic planning. So they solve it through what? Planning body. Or the that is the central problem of economy in socialistic economy is solved through what? Planning body. Okay. Whereas in mixed economy, again, you find both the features of socialistic and capitalist economy. Therefore, what happened? Both the price mechanism as well as economic planning are at the work simultaneously. Okay, so this is what? A distinction on the basis of solution of economic problem. How do these three economies solve their economic problem, right? Okay, now next point on the basis of nature of occupation. Okay, we are going to make a distinction among these three economies then. Well, in capitalism, see, there is a complete economic freedom. In capitalism, there is a complete economic freedom. That is, there is a freedom of choice. Okay, individual have freedom, freedom of enterprise. They can start up their own business. Okay, people are free to start their own, business according to their choices. Now, people have freedom to choose their occupation of their choice. That is, I'm talking about in capitalistic economy. Okay, whereas when you come to socialistic economy, in socialistic economy, people are not allowed to start their own business. They have limited freedom. Okay, there is no private entrepreneur or there is no private enterprise in socialistic economy. They have no, there is in fact absolutely zero freedom to start their own businesses. Okay, why? Because in socialistic economy, government is only the producer. Alright, then what about in the mixed economy then? Well, in mixed economy, there is a limited sovereignty. Limited sovereignty means there is freedom, but within some extent. To some extent only. There is freedom, but to some extent. That is in mixed economy. Alright? Okay, now on the basis of competition, let's make a distinction among the three economies. Well, in capitalistic economy, there is free competition, high level competition in every field of production, whether you are a producer or a consumer or a worker. In every field of production, there is a competition. There is a competition among the producers, to earn more and more profit. There are always in the competition race to earn more and more profit. And among the consumer also, there is always a competition to buy the best of the best products. Understood? And of course, among the worker also there is a competition. So there is there is free competition, a high level of competition in in capitalistic economy. But what about in socialistic economy? Well, in socialistic economy, as I said, that the government is only the producer. There is no other producers in socialistic, a single producer. When does a competition arises? A competition arises when there are two or three or more, producer or an entrepreneur in the market competing with each other, isn't it? If there is only single producer, there is no competition at all, isn't it? Okay, so whereas in that's why in socialistic economy, since the government is the only producer, there is no competition at all. Therefore, it avoids all sorts of competition in socialistic economy. All right. Then mixed economy. What about in mixed economy? Well, in mixed economy, there is, like as I said, in capitalistic economy, there is high degree of competition. No competition in every way. In mixed economy, as I said, there is, there exists both they exist both private sector as well as public sector. Therefore, there is competition in mixed economy, but low degree of competition. Okay, competition is there, but to some extent. All right. Okay. Now, on the basis of distribution of income, let's find out, or rather, let's make a distinction between the three economies. Well, in capitalism, what happens is there is an existence of use inequality of income. Okay, in capitalistic economy, income equality is very wide. There is a wide gap between the have and the have-nots. Who are the have and the have-nots? Have and have-nots are the rich and the poor. In capitalistic economy, there is a large gap between the rich and the poor. The rich are very rich, and the poor are at the grassroots. They're very poor. So the gap between the rich and the poor is very wide in capitalistic economy. Therefore, there is the existence of large inequalities of income in capitalistic economy. All right. What about in socialistic economy? Well, in socialistic economy, inequality of income is relatively small. The gap is relatively, narrow. It's small. Okay, why? Because in socialistic economy, you have a government to control and to see all these things. Alright, the government strictly monitors everything. Therefore, the inequality of income is very narrow or small in socialistic economy. Then, what about in mixed economy then? Well, in mixed economy, if you see, yes, there is some, to some extent, there is a gap between the rich and the poor, and inequality of income is quite wide in mixed economy. Okay, but national income is not unequal. Okay, when you talk about national income is not unequal. But yes, if you talk about per capita income, then yes, to some extent, or to a large extent rather, it is quite wide. Okay, just like in capitalistic economy. Okay, now let's see economic fluctuation. Okay, on the basis of economic fluctuation, let's make a distinction between these three economies. Okay, in capitalism, first of all, what is economic fluctuation? Economic fluctuation means, up and down in the economy. All right, which in capitalistic economy, you see, economic fluctuation is widely seen in capitalistic economy, things like inflation, deflation, this kind of things, in capitalistic economy, very often you see. So the fluctuation is very high in capitalistic economy. Whereas in socialism, fluctuation has no place at all. There is no place for economic fluctuation. Why? Because the planning authority is always in control of all these things. Okay, it is watched and monitored all the time. Understood? Whereas since in capitalistic economy, why there is sort of economic fluctuation, too much of economic fluctuation in capitalistic economy is, everything is owned by private ownership. So all because of all this competition, etc., etc. So there are high chances of economic fluctuation in capitalistic economy, which those whereas in socialistic economy you don't find that. There's absolutely in fact no. Okay, there's no place for economic fluctuation in socialistic economy. Then what about in mixed economy? Again, as I said, mixed economy is a blend of socialistic economy, capitalistic economy. So you find both the characteristics here. So to some extent we get to see economic fluctuation in mixed economy. All right. So so these are some of the distinctions we made. On the basis of some of the points, we made distinction among the three economies today. In the coming up class, we shall see more on these three economies. Till then, we're going to stop here. And for queries and any doubts that you have, you can always WhatsApp me in the number that I have provided. In case if you have forgotten my number is 95636 2669. Kindly WhatsApp me in this number if you have any doubts and queries. Okay. Till then, stay connected and stay